Good morning. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying by powers of 10. So at the end of last week you learned about what powers of 10 were. So we have the powers of 10 kind of correspond to numbers or amounts, okay, and those amounts can be mapped out on our place value chart. So if we're looking at the ones place, I have 10 to the 0 here because 10 to the 0 means that there are 0 tens. So that means that you're in the ones place because the ones place has no tens. And then 10 to the first means you've multiplied by 10 one time, so you're in the tens place. You multiply by 10 two times, 10 times 10. You're in the hundreds place. So 10 to the second equals 10 times 10, and we've moved 2 places on the place value chart to the hundreds place. So 10 times 10 is 100. So 10 to the second is 100. All right, same thing with 10 to the third. Multiply by 10, multiply by 10, multiply by 10. So we're multiplying by 10 3 times, okay, which is 1,000. And we end up once, twice, thrice. We end up in the thousands place, okay? So 10 to the third is 1,000. Now something interesting that we'll talk about later is you can go up, you can start at the hundreds place, and you can go up 2 powers of 10, 1, 2, and end up in the 10,000s place. And 10 to the second plus another 2 powers of 10 gets you to 10 to the fourth, okay? So you can move up powers of 10 back and forth between the place value chart, all right? So 10 to the second is 100, 10 to the third is 1,000. So then if we were to do something like this, if we were to multiply 6 times 10 to the second, what we're really multiplying is 6 times 100. Because 10 to the second, 1, 2 is 100 right here, okay? So that means that 10 to the second would be 6 times 100, which is 600, okay? It would be the same thing if we were multiplying 6 times 10 to the third. 10 to the third is 1,000, so it would be the same thing as 6 times 1,000. So 6 times 10 to the third would be 6 times 1,000, which would be 6,000. All right. And just like we were talking, there are shortcuts, kind of like there were the other day. So if you know that 10 to the fifth is a 1 with 5 zeros after it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 to the fifth is 100,000. So if you know that, if you were to do 3 times 10 to the fifth, it's going to be a 3 with 5 zeros after it, because 3 times 1 is 3, and then you have the 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be 300,000, which should make sense because if 10 to the fifth is 100,000 and 3 times 100,000 should be 300,000, all right? So those are kind of your patterns. And if you were to start from 10 to the 0, if you're going to go 10 to the 0, 10 to the first, 10 to the second, 10 to the third, and so on and so forth. So if we were to do 5 times 10 to the 0, 5 times 10 to the first, 5 times 10 to the second, 5 times 10 to the third, 5, that's just going to be 5 because that's the ones place, no zeros. 5 times 10 to the first is a tens place, it would be 50, 1 0. 5 times 10 to the second, 10 to the second is the hundreds place, 2 zeros. 2. 5 times 10 to the third, that's the thousands place, it's a 5 with 3 zeros. Okay, so we're going to try some of that today.